Welcome to the Power of Silence, the channel where real stories destroy excuses and awaken the warrior inside you. If you're tired of motivation that fades, if you're done with comfort lies, you're in the right place. Today's story will change how you see age, effort, failure, and what it truly means to win. No one noticed him at first. He stood at the edge of the Sydney to Melbourne ultramarathon, not in running shoes, not in sports gear, but in overalls and gumboots, the same clothes he wore while chasing sheep across his farm. He was 61 years old. Around him were elite athletes, young, powerful, trained, sponsored. Their bodies looked like machines. His body looked like life had already finished with it. Someone laughed. Someone whispered. Someone asked, "Sir, are you here to watch?" He smiled calmly and said, "No, I'm here to run." And in that moment, the world dismissed him. What if the world laughs at you not because you're wrong, but because they can't see what you see? The race was brutal. 875 kilometers from Sydney to Melbourne, 6 days, almost no sleep. This wasn't a race, this was survival. Reporters surrounded him. "What training have you done?" He said, "When storms came, I chased my sheep for 2 or 3 days straight, didn't stop, just kept going." They didn't know whether to laugh or feel sorry for him. Because he didn't look like a champion, he didn't sound like a champion, and he certainly didn't move like one. When the race started, the pack surged forward, smooth strides, perfect rhythm, elite speed. Cliff? He didn't run, he shuffled. His arms flapped awkwardly, his posture was off, his movement looked inefficient, almost painful to watch. The crowd laughed. The runners smiled. The cameras moved on. Within hours, he was far behind. Have you ever been left behind, not because you were weak, but because you were different? By nightfall, the elite runners checked into their hotels to sleep and recover. Cliff did not stop. Not because he was brave, not because he was tough, but because he didn't know he was supposed to sleep. No one told him. So he kept shuffling all night, through pain, through darkness, through loneliness. While others rested, he moved. Morning came. The runners woke up refreshed, and then something impossible happened. Cliff wasn't behind them. He was ahead. The reporters were confused. How did the old farmer pass us? They rushed to him. "Cliff, did you sleep?" He looked confused. "Sleep? Why would I sleep? We're in a race." And in that moment, they realized he wasn't racing like them. He wasn't sprinting. He wasn't stopping. He was simply moving without interruption.
What if success isn't about speed, but about refusing to stop? Day after day, he kept shuffling. Blisters formed, muscles screamed. His body begged him to quit, but his mind was silent. He wasn't chasing victory. He wasn't thinking about records. He wasn't comparing himself to anyone. He was just moving, step, step, step. By the 5th day, something miraculous had happened. The elite runners were no longer leading. The old farmer in gumboots was. The same crowd that laughed now stood in awe. The same reporters who mocked him now chased him. The same runners who dismissed him now followed behind him. Not because he was fast, but because he was unstoppable. What if the one who looks weakest is actually the one who lasts the longest? On the final day, Cliff Young crossed the finish line first. He won. At 61 years old, without training, without sponsors, without sleeping, without even knowing he was breaking records. He shattered the previous race record by 9 hours. The world was stunned. They offered him the prize money, a massive sum. He didn't even know there was prize money. When they told him, he was shocked. "Oh," he said, "I don't need that." Then he did something no one expected. He gave the entire prize money away to the other runners, every single dollar. Not for fame, not for applause, not for recognition. He simply said, "They worked hard, they deserve it." Then he went home, back to his farm, back to his sheep, back to his quiet life. No fame, no ego, no victory speech, just silence. What if real greatness doesn't need recognition because it already knows who it is? But this story is not about running. It's about how life is actually won. The world teaches you to sprint. It teaches you to chase. It teaches you to burn fast and bright and then collapse. Cliff did the opposite. He moved slow. He moved steady. He never stopped. And that is why he won. Not with power, not with talent, not with youth, but with consistency. Not with aggression, but with persistence. Not with ego, but with humility. What if your biggest problem isn't that you're slow, but that you stop? You don't lose because you're not gifted. You don't lose because you're not talented. You lose because you quit. You lose because you stop moving. You lose because you expect motivation to carry you when only discipline can. Cliff didn't have motivation. He had momentum, and momentum beats motivation every time.
What if your life is not failing, but simply waiting for you to stop quitting? When you feel slow, remember this. Slow is not failure. Stopping is. When you feel behind, remember this. Behind is temporary. Quitting is permanent. When you feel ordinary, remember this. Ordinary people who don't stop become extraordinary. The race is not against others. The race is against your own stopping point. What if the only thing separating you from victory is one more step? The world celebrates speed, but life rewards stability. The world worships talent, but destiny bows to persistence. The world respects power, but the universe respects consistency. Cliff Young didn't outrun people, he outlasted them. What if you're not meant to be fast, but meant to be unstoppable? And now this story is no longer about Cliff, it's about you, your dreams, your discipline, your daily actions. Are you sprinting and collapsing, or are you moving and continuing? Are you burning out, or are you building endurance? Are you chasing validation, or are you walking your own path? What if your greatest power is not speed, but refusal to stop? Cliff Young proves this. You don't need to look like a champion to become one. You don't need to move like others to reach the finish line. You don't need speed if you have consistency. You don't need strength if you have endurance. You don't need youth if you have persistence. Sometimes, the one who looks the weakest is the one who lasts the longest, and the one who lasts the longest wins. Concluding note: if this story awakens something inside you, don't ignore it. That feeling is not emotion, that is recognition. You recognized your own strength buried under doubt, excuses, and comparison. Stop trying to be fast, start trying to be unstoppable. Move, even when you don't feel like it. especially when you don't feel like it. Like, share, subscribe. If this story gave you clarity, strength, or courage, hit the like button so this message reaches someone who's about to quit. Share this with someone who feels slow, behind, or lost, and subscribe to the Power of Silence, where we don't motivate your emotions, we reprogram your identity. Stay strong, stay moving, and never stop.